here today, a nice cold January's morning. Got up nice and early, try and get a bit of feeder fishing in. I'm just going to talk through a little bit of the groundbait mix I would use this time of year. It's slightly different from the summer months. First off would be F1. Now this would normally be the only thing I'll use, just completely on its own. It's absolutely brilliant. But they've got to do a little change this time of year. So if we add that to start with, you don't need much. We're going to be using hardly any bait today. It's barely above freezing, so keep it nice and small. This is the only extra thing. It's swims in black. Purely the only reason is to darken it off. This time of year I feel it's far too alarming seeing bright baits like F1 on the bottom. So you just add that in, dull the colour off, and you should find that may help you catch rate. As you can see, this time of year we really don't want to be mixing up too much groundbait. I mean, you could probably get away with half a pint. I've mixed up extra just in case we do have one of those good days, but in there you can see there's not much in there at all. Just all we need to do then before we start is mix it with water. Again, just do it very, very slowly. You don't want to be making it too stodgy. You want to keep it nice and light really, so as it hits the water it's more of an explosion rather than staying in as if you were fishing the river or something. So all we're doing, adding little and often, keep whisking as you're going, making sure you're not getting any lumps or anything like that. Take it nice and slow, there's no rush. Again, a bit more water. And that's going to be about right. Try and keep it nice and fluffy, nice and light. Make sure you do keep it more on the dry side than the wet side for this time of year. The only other thing in bait preparation that I do here in the winter, normal micro pellet, but definitely works better if you soften them off with water first, purely because I think fish are slightly more confident picking up a soft pellet to a hard pellet. Especially the colder and colder you get, the more important this goes. So first of all I do is we add just a bit of water in the bait box. And again, back to the old trusty F1 flavouring. Always put a good squirt of that in all of my fishing. And then to water level, if you just add them up, normally I just drain them off straight away and leave them to soak for maybe 15 minutes until they just soak all the water up. And you're sitting there with nice soft micro pellet. Just a small bit about our bait selection for this time of year. I've tried to keep it nice and simple today. There is a few fish in here and we are expecting to hopefully catch some. So all we need for this time of year, start off with a bigger bait, corn. That is for, there is a few odd bigger fish in here, so hopefully if we get a chance later on we might slip a bit of this on and maybe get a bigger fish. Pellets, you saw me do those earlier. Now they are nice and soft now. You could squeeze them in a feeder if you wish, or just put them in with a groundbait as we'll show you later. Must have for this time of year, maggots. This is going to probably be 90% of my fishing today is going to start on this, and if we keep going we'll probably finish on it. And if it does get a little bit harder, we've got some pinkies just for that odd occasion where, especially this time of year, it is really hard, you need to scale down. The only other thing that might be worth mentioning, I have done my own little pellet box, which is actual normal coarse pellets, but all I've done is sat at home and I've dyed them all sorts of different colours and flavours, just so you don't sit there thinking, what can I try next? You've always got something to switch on to. Tackle we're going to be using today for this session, got my reel loaded with 4-pound line. You could probably go slightly lighter this time of year. 9-foot rod. Reason for that is because it's very soft. We don't want any hook pulls and we're only chucking a short cast, so it's going to be helping to get you out to sea and you're not going to be overcasting. This then comes down to a feeder on a running rig, completely free. The only thing that stops it is you come down to cool and quick change bead, and then we come down to the hook length, which we've gone very light today. We've gone for 0.10 G line, which works out at 3.5 pounds, There's no need to go heavy, we might even go lighter. And then the hook down to an absolute tiny size 20, possibly 22. We're ready for the first chuck now. All we're going to do is quickly talk through how I'm going to be filling my feeder for this time of year and the negative approach we're going to be using. All you're going to do is block one end with a bit of the groundbait we mixed earlier, and we're going to add maybe 5, 6, 7 micro pellets, and then just cap it and block your other end. That is it for this time of year. Let's give it a go. Well, we've finally managed to find one. We've had quite a few chucks now, quick succession of a few line bites, but not much more than that, and then this one absolutely ripped it off the rest, so hopefully it's a good start. Now, I wouldn't be too worried this time of year. I'm quite happy to leave a cast anywhere between 5 minutes, probably up to 15 minutes. You haven't got to panic at all. You just need to make sure you keep them going in the same spot, and hopefully they'll come. No better indication than sitting there, tip wobbling out, which is exactly what we had before this. Fish is kited really far down to my left, so all we're doing is keeping the rod nice and low, and hopefully it will come back. Starting to tire now. That looks like a nice fish to start the session. It's a common. Let's have a look at him. It's freezing cold, so it shows this time of year how little bait you might actually need. It's a lovely little winter common. Trying to kick him already, so we won't keep him out too long. We'll get him straight back.